Hello, YouTube family, Facebook family, biological family, friends, and new acquaintances. I'm Carol Cortez on assignment, and that's called Mission Possible, and that's to bless us all with information. Welcome to AHEAD. That's an acronym for Achievers, Happy, Encouraged, Accomplished, and Determined. That's who I am, and I trust that's who you are also. Well, today we have a guest, and the subject is called Meet Maritza, the fashion supermodel. Please, if you would, join me with welcoming Maritza Myrtle as she shares information about her experiences with us. Welcome, Maritza.
Thank you. Maritza.
Sorry, my tongue got a little tied. Maritza.
Maritza.
Yes,
Yeah.
Maritza. My tongue got a little tied.
Okay.
So, Maritza, tell us, please, if you would, what made you decide to go into the modeling profession?
So, ever since, I have a funny story. When I was born, my mom, she shared with me that literally it was like a few hours after I was born, she was getting ready to, my father and my mom were ready to bring me home, and actually an agent was there. So I feel like it's like a divine blessing by like God, like the universe wants this for me. But yeah, this woman was just like, your daughter is such a cute baby, and I think she'd be an awesome baby model. Think about it. Here's my card. You won't have to like pay for photos or anything. And my dad was actually into it, which is funny because as time progressed, he wasn't like into it anymore. But yeah, they actually brought me to like a casting. I had photos taken, and after them taking me to 2 castings, they were like over it because I was a baby. I was crying, and I wasn't really interested.
Okay.
But fast forward again, when I was a kid, I was just always a tall, skinny girl. And people used just to always say to my parents, like, oh, your daughter should model, you should allow her to model. And they're like, at the time, especially just during my teenage years, preteen years, they weren't like interested just because they've heard like the downside of like the fashion industry and modeling. And I've even had people like scouts. I used to go to the city sometimes with my grandmother and my mom, and we were like in this little boutique, and this woman, the shop owner, she was like, oh my God, your daughter should model. And the scout was there. It was like, oh, I had very like long features, like long neck, long body, torso. So they're like, oh, she'd be perfect. And my mom was into it, but my dad, he wasn't. He's very like protected. It's so funny how things change, and they just didn't have the time to go with me to like go to castings.
Sure.
And it takes a lot. And my dad was just like, yeah, you need that parental supervision so you don't get taken advantage of, which I totally understand. And but yeah, like fast forward, I just always was in love with modeling. I grew up watching like the Victoria's Secret fashion show, which is like every girl's dream, still my dream. And just watching Tyra, I watched America's Next Top Model. I always looked up to like Iman, which I was telling you about.
Yes.
Just these beautiful black women who, at the time, I was like, as a kid, I was like insecure about my features, but just seeing these women that had like long arms, long legs, long features, and they were just owning their beauty, their blackness. Naomi Campbell, like, I'm just like, oh, these women are queens, and it just inspired me. I'm like, okay, like I sort of look like them. Like, let's see how like the time goes, and like I want to follow in their footsteps. So they're like my biggest inspiration, like 90s supermodels. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So thinking about America's Next Top Model, that program, a lot of us watched that.
Yeah.
It was so many of us watched it that it had a long run.
It did.
But actually, what was your journey within entering into modeling?
It's funny because when I was in college, I actually went with a family friend, my Valerie. She brought me down to DC to try out for America's Next Top Model. I stood in line for hours. And yeah, I didn't make it, but I think that's a blessing just because America's Next Top Model is more of a reality TV show than actual like modeling. Bits and pieces are true, like going to go-sees or castings, which are auditions where you meet a client, you show your portfolio or your comp card, which is like a 4P, it's like a front and back card that shows like your headshot, 4 different photos of you and your measurements and your agency, and you go, you see them, you try on clothes. That's like the true part. You do shows, but the drama that goes on in the show isn't like
Oh, that's good news.
Yeah, it's good news. I mean, yeah, like with any job, there are, you know, people who are in this industry, especially since it's an industry that's all about like perception. There are big personalities. There are some models who are competitive. You will run into that, but I think I've been blessed. I think 80% of my experience has been great so far. There's like the 20% that has been like, that has been, you know, like I've had my challenges and tribulations, and I've dealt with some people who didn't have like my best interests at heart. But yeah, for the most part, I feel like modeling is a job that requires like being resilient, having a strong sense of self. And I actually like started in college, I could say. Like I did, I went to Stony Brook University in Long Island, and I did the school fashion show. And at that time, I was so shy, and that brought me out of my shell. And then I also did some modeling, local modeling on the side. I had an agency here in Long Island, and they brought me to, I had different clients where I did some like e-commerce work. I did some things for some local businesses here, and that helped me grow my confidence. And then it wasn't until I like graduated that I decided to like go into modeling full time. And I went to all these agencies. I went to Wilhelmina. I went everywhere. I was like, oh, they're gonna sign me. It's gonna, and then I could just like quit my day job, and then I'm gonna be flying to Paris. That wasn't what happened, but but that was literally my dream. I remember like I graduated in May, and then I like a couple of weeks later, I was like, yeah, I like had some headshots. I went to the Wilhelmina open casting. I was like, oh, I'm about to just like get signed, and then I'm about to be walking for Victoria's Secret. And no, that didn't happen, but I'm still modeling, and really mine has been like a journey. I feel like it's been like a spiritual journey too, like modeling as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned some of the challenges. What strategies that you can think of that you use to maneuver through the challenges so that you can go forward anyhow?
I think relying on my support system. My family, my friends, the people who have, like the people of my go-to best friends that I could go and vent to, because at times in modeling, things can feel you can feel alone just because it requires a lot of independence, because you're running around like New York City, or you're in a different city or a different country, and you're meeting with people you don't know, and it's a job that is based off of talent, and talent is 50%, I think, no, actually 80% of your looks, and then 20% of like modeling and walking and all that. But I think most of the job is based on your looks, and also just being a woman of color. Like when you go to castings, a lot of designers or whatever brand, they have an idea of the kind of girl you want, and some designers, they don't want a woman of color. And now it's changing a lot. It's going back to like the 90s.
Thank God.
Yeah. But like that was something I really struggled with, where like I went to Paris. I think the first time I went to Paris, and I went to some agencies, and they were like, oh, we're not looking for a black girl right now. We have a girl that looks like you already. And it's like they only have like 2 black girls on their board. And yeah, like that's something that got to me. It's like, oh, well, there's like my skin color causes a limitation. No. And there's something I can't change my skin color, and I love being a black woman too. Yes. But I feel like that has taught me to love myself more. I think self-love, being independent, being resilient, just relying on like your inner tools and just knowing who you are, and not getting caught up with what people say to you, because it is a job where like I've had some people who, I'm not trying to say that they tried to break me, but they said things to me that like had me like shook. I once worked with a photographer who like, the first thing he said when he saw me, he was like, oh, like you're actually smaller in real life than you look in your pictures. In your pictures, you look fat. And I'm like, yeah. And like he just like went on a thing, and it was a room full of people, and he like attacked me. He was saying that my hips were too big. I need to lay off of carbs. He like when the makeup artist was doing my makeup, he was saying contour her nose, contour this, like literally the whole time. And then the whole time I feel like he was like trying to attack me, and like I had to like shoot for him. I had to deliver. And it was like, maybe that was like one time I felt like I was like on an America's Next Top Model like trial, where that was like hard to deal with. Okay. But then afterwards I just called my mom. Like, yeah, I'm just like, hey, this happened. I just need like that positive reinforcement. So I think cultivating, even if it's like one person in your life, but that one person you could just call before you have a casting, or after you have it, or when you book a job, to tell you also your good news about the people that you know who are genuinely happy for you. I think having community really is important. Yeah.
Wow. So what are some of the perks and the joys that you have experienced beyond the challenges.
Yeah. Modeling is awesome. So many opportunities. I get to travel to places. I get to meet amazing people that work in all different fields, not just the creative field of photographers, stylists, and makeup artists, but also just distinguished people, celebrities, thought leaders. I get to go to events that I get to go to, like music awards and special events and things with cool brands. I get a lot of free makeup. I've done things for Anastasia, Beverly Hills. That's an amazing makeup line. And I did like a teaching class for them where I worked with a makeup artist on New York Fashion Week, and we just clicked so well. And we exchanged numbers, and he is like the head of like teaching the makeup artists who work for Anastasia, Beverly Hills, like how to do eyebrows, how to actually do makeup on clients. And I got to like be the model where he teaches them. And then and I also got like a whole bunch of makeup. And you know, makeup is expensive. So I got all this great highlighters, eyeshadow, like eyebrow pencils. And I really just enjoy modeling because I get to enjoy things that like, I just know like if I was working another job, I wouldn't normally be able to experience. So I'm grateful. Yeah, it opens up doors.
So what is your work day hours? What does that look like?
So with modeling, it's not like a normal 9 to 5.
Okay.
So my days vary. Like some days I'm like running around the city, going to different auditions and castings. Some days I get booked for a job. Some jobs we have early call times. It'll be like a 5 a.m. call time, 4 a.m. call time.
Wow, okay.
Hair and makeup takes sometimes like 2 hours. Like makeup takes an hour, doing hair sometimes takes an hour. And it depends. Like it depends on the client. Like it's not a normal job where it's like Monday to Friday, you know, like you're working 9 to 5. It's a job where it's like, okay, Monday I have like 5 castings to go to. Tuesday I have a show to do, or I have a fashion shoot to do, and it's for 5 hours, or it could be for 8 hours. Like e-commerce jobs for online, sometimes they are like a 9 to 5, and you'll be booked for like 5 days, and then you'll shoot like a whole like collection or something, and then they'll rebook you like 2 months later for another 5 days for their website. So it's very flexible job. It's on. You have to be ready. You have to be on the go ready. You have to make sure your skin is good. You have to take care of yourself. Like it's a job. Like you have to. Like your body is your tool, your vessel, and you have to take care of your body. That's one thing I've learned too. Is just taking care of my body.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah. So yeah.
So what are some suggestions that you would give to people that are hopeful to enter in to the modeling profession, and also to have some stick-to-itiveness with it?
Yeah, so one thing I would say is working on your personal self, working on your confidence, doing affirmations in the mirror, and just knowing who you are as a person before you enter this world, because it's a world where people are going to try to tell you who you are or what you can do, and you only have the vision of what you can do. Because there's so many people who told me that, like, I'm too cute, I'm too commercial, I'm not high fashion, and like I've done high fashion things, I walked in New York Fashion, but it's like me believing in myself. Like you have to believe in your vision, you can't give up. It's going to be hard at times because for every like yes you hear, you probably hear like 50 no's, and that's just the business. That comes with anything like entertainment wise.
Yes.
So it's just like having a strong sense of self. The other thing I would say is also knowing your poses, looking in magazines, the current Vogue, whatever you want to work in. Like say if you want to, because there's different types of modeling, but say if you want to work for like a certain huge brand, look at their campaigns, look at how the model is posing, look at the facial expressions, and practice that in front of a mirror. And also if you have a friend, have them take photos of you so you know how your face photographs and how to control your facial muscles and your body, and knowing lighting, knowing how light touches your face. It's an art modeling, and just knowing how to sell an item. It's like it's not like it's a job where you're selling and you're delivering for a client. So you want to be the best of the best, because especially just being in a market like New York, you're like a little fish in a big pond. There's like hundreds of thousands of beautiful women here, and it's just like you have to but don't focus on them, focus on yourself, and just knowing your skills and believing in yourself, and just always knowing that modeling is a business. It's a job. It's not, I think some people, they view it as something that's like glamorous, and yeah, it has its glamorous side, but it's work.
Yes.
Like, it's work. You have to take care of your body. You have to show up on time. I think also just being nice to everybody on set, like from the photographer to the makeup artist, the stylist, because they take note of that. People like to work with people that they like.
Nice.
So, and they remember you. It's also like, oh, she's a great model, she delivers, but she's also a nice person. And then I also gotten so many jobs off of just a photographer, me working with a photographer and it being great, or me working with a makeup artist and they're loving, or a stylist, or like, oh, I know this girl, Maritza, let me reach out to her, and that, like, that helps. It's like networking, yeah.
So how would someone go about finding a agent or
an agent? I would recommend, you don't need professional photos. You need, you could just do Polaroids. A lot of places.
That's good to know.
And with now that we live in like a digital age, a lot of places, they take mobile photos. You could go to any website of any agency and you could submit your photos. If you live in a major market like New York or LA, or even if you live in a small town, every small town has like a local agency and they'll work with you. I think it's better to start off small. That's what I did, like, because when you go for like a top modeling agency, you're going up against like the best of the market, and there might be a girl that has similar features as you, and she's been doing this for like a while, so you're going to be competing against that. So it's good to start off small, and a smaller agency will take care of you. So I would suggest, even like, if you can, go to that agency instead of just like mailing in photos. Mailing is great, but they probably get like thousands of photos a day. But going in, letting them see your face, they'll take photos of you, and yeah, just, you have to be a go-getter. Like, that's the one thing too. You can't wait for things to come to you. You have to like show up. You might look crazy, like just like popping up at an agency, but they'll take note of it. They'll remember you, and just come. And also, when you arrive to the agency, make sure that you are in clothes that make you look good, like a black t-shirt, denim jeans, and have some like regular pumps on you. Nothing with a crazy platform. I see girls do that all the time to make themselves seem taller, but agencies, they realize that, and they're gonna make you take off your shoes anyways to measure you. But yeah, just come fresh face, or just have like basic foundation on. They don't want to see you with makeup because you're gonna be made up anyways. They want to see you like the bare minimum. They want to see like the untouched like masterpiece first.
Yes.
So yeah.
The raw canvas.
The raw canvas, yes.
So what are some of the top fashion shows that you have presented in?
So I've gotten to walk for Dan Liu. He's a really great designer, and he is based in, I think, Toronto, but he shows at Official New York Fashion Week every year. That's like one of the biggest shows I've done so far. I've done small shows for other designers over the years. Like, I continuously like work New York Fashion Week, but that was like the big one where I got to do at Spring Studios and Skylight Clarkson, which is like the big place where like Oscar, like, we're in what, November now? So like 2 months ago in September, I walked for him, and kid you not, like that morning, the run of show, they have, they do it at Spring Studios, which is in Tribeca in New York City, and I see like Oscar de la Renta was like the opening of the day. And that's where like a whole bunch of big supermodels walk for, and I'm just like, wow, I'm in the same, it's like, I feel like I manifested this, but I'm like, I'm in the same place where all these big designers are. And I previously worked for like a fashion brand before, but it was a men's fashion brand, and I used to always just be there, but just for like the men's fashion. I'm like, oh, I want to like model here, I want this. Like, I've done small things here and around, and those opportunities are awesome, and I'm grateful for those, but I just wanted more. And like the fact that this happened, it started for me last year in February, and then I got to walk for him again in September, and then I walked for him again earlier this February. Great. Now it's like, yeah, so I'm just grateful, and I get to see like all these celebrities, and it's like daunting. Like, one of my best friends, she followed Miss USA, I think it was 2017, yeah. Okay. And she followed her Snapchat, and she's like, I think I just saw you on Miss USA Snapchat. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, she was at the fashion show, and she was recording the looks, and you were one of them. She sent me the snap, and I was like, whoa, that's so cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, have you ever modeled at the Paris Fashion Week?
No, not yet. I'm speaking into existence. But I have modeled. But I have modeled in Paris, which was awesome.
Okay,
yeah.
I thought I heard you went to Paris.
Yeah, I did.
Yes,
I've gone to Paris a few times, but I haven't done official Paris Fashion Week. But I know it's gonna come. I feel it. Like I know.
Well, Maritza, I want to say it's been a pleasure. I've known you since you were a teenager, and I thought it was, very stunning and encouraging when you and I were talking, and you were saying that you were going to go into the model profession, and I was like, I just took mental note of it with being impressed, and here it is years forward, and you're not only in the profession, but you are doing very well in the profession. So I want to say that I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
And I pray much continued success for you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. And so everyone, I want to thank you for watching in. I want to thank everyone for subscribing and for giving me a thumbs up that you like the broadcast. I ask that you continue to watch and watch the broadcast all the way through, because you don't want to miss certain key points that my guest and I present to you. Also, please share this information with your family and your friends and acquaintances, anyone that you know has a need to know. We're really trying to offer a lot of information to you to bless you in your journey of life. So, also, please take note that in my YouTube channel, I have many different presentations, and on Facebook as well. I discuss saving money successfully simplified, also investing in corporate stocks simplified. So please check in, look at the channel, what I have for you, examine it, watch the videos all the way through, and be blessed. I ask that you please stay blessed, stay encouraged, and stay connected with me, and I'll talk with you real soon. Click on subscribe and ring the bell. When you ring the bell, you'll be automatically notified when I upload another broadcast. Thank you so much. Have a great day.